They say when you crack open a white egg, you still get yellow yolk. When you crack open a brown egg, you get yellow yolk. To wit, that it's all the same inside. And that's a lesson that football can learn from, because the ugly head of racism has once again shown itself. And that's how we introduce you to today's Pulse Sports. I'm Gary Al Smith. Manchester United have issued an official statement. They say they are disgusted by racial abuse aimed at their superstar player, who is black, Paul Pogba. Here's a report, and then we come back and do a quick analysis of why this is happening.
They've said they're disgusted by the abuse, but say it was heartening to see the vast majority of their supporters online condemning the abuse. They're now working to identify the culprits. We're in contact with the police as well to see what action they should take. But in the last few minutes, we've had a statement from Kick It Out, who've condemned that racist abuse thrown at Paul Pogba online yesterday. This is exactly what Kick It Out have said. The latest round of fixtures have again seen unwarranted and vile racist abuse sent to players. This time, Reading's Yaku Mete and Manchester United's Paul Pogba. The number of posts such as these since the start of the season further highlights how discriminatory abuse online is out of control. That's what Kick It Out say. Without immediate and the strongest possible action, these cowardly acts will continue to grow. As always, we have contacted the respective clubs to offer support to those affected. So the headlines of those: Kick It Out not happy. They've offered support to Manchester United and Paul Pogba if he wants it to deal with this. But this is the third player in a week that has been suffered racist abuse on social media.
Strong reaction from Man United, but this is a large issue involving players from around the world, and especially as the Serie A starts this weekend, we can be sure that there will be a few incidents. In studio with me is Oriku Ampo, my colleague on the desk as well. We're both monitoring that game, and you could tell that people are just frustrated with it. A quick reaction on Twitter, what did you see?
Well, I think that the abuse on Twitter has probably doubled in the previous season, and that's probably due to the fact that the perpetrators usually consider this as a safer space because, of course, you can sign up on Twitter with any fake email address, a fake number, and nothing links to your identity. So it makes it, quote-unquote, safer to, abuse these players and let out how you really feel. Football is a very, very emotional sport, especially when you either support this club or you place a bet on them. There are so many reasons as to why people can be emotionally attached to football. And usually when players do go at fault, it does tend to get very emotional in terms of the reactions.
So, speaking of reactions, what have we seen?
Okay, so I think so far I saw a tweet, there was a Photoshop of a monkey's face of covering Pogba's head and, trying to insinuate that he's a black player, a monkey and all that, the link between black players and monkeys. And we've also seen quite a number of tweets calling him a nigger. Yeah. And that's probably due to the penalty that he missed yesterday against Wolverhampton Wanderers. But Manchester United, on their Twitter page, they've condemned, racism, speaking about how they have zero tolerance for any form of racism. And if you cast your mind back to last week, Tammy Abraham, he also suffered the same fate after missing that penalty in the Super Cup final against Liverpool. And, the Chelsea fans had to give him a standing ovation when he came on to, boost his confidence. And it can be quite emotional for these players because most of them are quote-unquote surrounded, but really, really alone. Because it's very tough out there being a footballer, living in England and all that. So it's a tough period. And also, he's also had some support from the players.
Yeah, so here we go. Support number one came from the man they call Jesse Lingard.
Those are his bros, Lingard and Rashford. But is Lingard saying that he completely agrees this cannot carry on? We are all with Paul Pogba.
And then we saw Marcus Rashford, who was the most vocal.
Yeah.
He tweeted about 3 or 4 different things.
Yeah.
This is from Harry Maguire first.
Yeah, a new signing. He just joined most expensive defender in the world. He's disgusted and actually goes beyond just criticizing the issue and saying that there should be a way to stop this. And he's suggesting that people should be verified with their accounts using a passport or a driving license, and people should stop this pathetic trolls. Now, this started a discussion in Ghana, and a lot of people are questioning, if you brought this to Ghana, then Charlie, a lot of people believe in Twitter because, you know, people don't have driver's licenses and legit passports. So it just sparks a conversation in Ghana. But I think that it's probably a good way to know whose account is whose. That way you can hold people accountable for what they say online. I know there's freedom of speech, but it needs to be controlled some way because it doesn't look good in the near future.
It doesn't look good in the near future, indeed. And Marcus Rashford started the solidarity, it must be said, among the United players with Paul Pogba.
Yeah, he actually sent out the first tweet, and his first tweet was "Enough now. This needs to stop," and that was quoting a Sky Sports tweet about the racist chant. And then he later comes to quote his first tweet and says that Manchester United is a huge family, and if you attack Pogba, you are attacking all of them.
You attack him, you attack us all. Interesting stuff. And this conversation will never go away. As I said, the mother of all the big 4 or 5 leagues, you know, where this is really, 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 really a problem. To the extent that we don't have as much official reaction or official backing towards anti-racism campaigns is the Serie A, and that starts this weekend. What can be done? That's another whole conversation that we cannot look at only here. Oreko, thank you for your time.
Thank you too, Gary.
And that man you see behind us, Paul Pogba, is the latest. He's a huge player, and that's why there's attention. Will the attention lead to results? We will find out in the near or not too distant future. I'm Gary Al Smith, and that's the sport for now.